Hey everyone, have you ever thought about actually seeing how cells behave?
Oh, yeah.
Like all their movements and even their life cycles?
Yeah, it's amazing.
That's what we can do with cellular image analysis, and we're going to talk about this today.
That's right. For a long time, we were stuck just taking pictures of cells.
Yeah.
But with image analysis, we can make those pictures into stories.
Oh, wow. So how do we get from the picture to usable data?
Well, that's where the software comes in.
Okay.
And these tools help us measure and quantify everything.
So it's like instead of just seeing the cell move,
Yeah,
we can get hard numbers.
exactly. And answer questions we could only dream of before.
Like what kind of questions?
Like, how does a certain drug affect cancer cells? Or how do immune cells migrate?
I've always been fascinated by how cells move.
Oh, yeah, me too.
It's like they have a purpose.
Absolutely. Cellular migration is fundamental to everything, from
Yeah.
wound healing to embryos.
Yeah.
And image analysis helps us track all those movements.
So it's like watching a time lapse
Right.
of a busy city.
Perfect analogy.
So let's say we're studying wound healing.
Okay.
How does image analysis help with that?
So imagine you have a wound closing over time.
Okay.
And with image analysis, we can track the cells at the edge of that wound
Really?
and measure how fast they're moving.
Wow. So we can actually see them morphing and adapting.
Precisely. It's so dynamic.
That's so cool. But cells aren't just moving, right?
Right.
They're also dividing,
Yeah.
making copies of themselves.
All the time.
How do we analyze that?
Cell division is another process we can look at. Think of it like a ballet with different steps.
Okay.
And the software can identify each stage.
Wow.
Yes. So we can train the software to recognize those visual cues.
Mm-hmm.
Like during interphase when the cell is getting ready to divide.
Uh-huh.
Then comes mitosis where the chromosomes are pulled apart.
Okay.
And finally cytokinesis where this splits.
So we're breaking down the whole process into each step.
Exactly. And with that detail, we can understand the mechanisms.
Wow.
And we can even see when those mechanisms go wrong, like in cancer.
That's incredible.
Yeah, we can even screen for drugs that target the cell cycle.
That's amazing.
It is.
It's like having a microscope that can also talk to us and tell us what's happening.
Exactly.
It's so cool.
It really is. It's pretty amazing, right?
Yeah, it is. But we've talked about cells moving and dividing.
Right.
What about cell death?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it sounds a bit morbid, but I know it's important.
Absolutely. Programmed cell death, or apoptosis, is super important for a healthy balance.
So it's like a cleanup crew.
Yeah, exactly. Getting rid of the bad cells.
So it's not just dying. It's about keeping things running, right?
Right. And image analysis can really help us study this.
How so?
Well, we can actually see the changes during apoptosis.
Really?
Yeah, like the cell shrinking and blebbing.
Blebbing. What's that?
Imagine a balloon deflating and little bubbles popping out.
Oh, I see.
That's kind of like blebbing.
Interesting. So it's not just exploding. It's like a controlled breakdown.
Yeah, exactly. And by analyzing these things, we can measure a lot.
Like what?
Like how many cells are dying, how fast, and what's causing it.
So we can really get a lot of information.
We can, and it helps us understand the process.
This is all so fascinating, but how do we actually go from the images to these insights?
It's a process, and it all starts with good images.
Okay.
Then we have to clean them up a bit.
Like getting rid of noise?
Yeah, exactly. Then we have segmentation.
What's that?
It's where we identify the cells in the image.
Okay, so we're separating them from the background.
Yeah, like sorting jelly beans by color.
I like that. Then what?
Then we can measure everything: size, shape, intensity, and location.
Wow. And we can track all those things over time.
We can, and we can compare different cells.
So it's like having a whole new set of eyes to see the cells.
Right, and we can visualize it in so many ways.
Like how?
Graphs, charts, heat maps, even videos.
So we're turning the cells into a story we can understand.
Exactly. And that story can help us with so many things.
Like what?
Like testing new drugs.
Oh, so we can actually see how a drug affects the cells.
Yes. And we can see if it's killing cancer cells or helping immune cells.
That's amazing.
It is. The applications are endless.
Wow. So we can use image analysis for a lot of things.
We can drug development, environmental toxins, tissue regeneration, even aging.
Wow, this is really revolutionary.
It is. We're exploring a whole new world.
This is incredible. But I imagine there are some challenges too.
Of course there are.
Like what?
Well, one big thing is calibration, making sure our measurements are accurate.
So like making sure our ruler is actually a foot long.
Exactly. And choosing the right image channels is important too.
Okay, so calibration and channels.
Right. And then there's automation.
Hmm.
It's great, but we still have to check the results.
Like trust but verify.
Exactly. We have to make sure the software is doing what we want.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
This has been a fascinating journey.
It has. We've learned so much.
It's amazing how much we can learn just by watching cells.
It's a hidden universe.
And image analysis is the key to unlocking it.
That's a great way to put it.
I feel like I have a whole new appreciation for this microscopic world.
Me too. It's full of wonders. Yeah, it's like going from a big picture to a tiny detail.
Right, and all that information is hidden in there.
It is, and it all connects together.
It's amazing that something so small can tell us so much.
Right. The more we learn, the more we realize how everything is connected.
Yeah, and we're not just observing it, we're measuring it.
Exactly.
We're getting real data.
That's the power of this image analysis stuff.
It is. We can measure things we couldn't before.
And that opens up so many possibilities.
So many.
Like new therapies and understanding how life works.
Absolutely. Imagine testing thousands of drugs and seeing how they work.
Wow, that would be amazing.
It would.
No more guessing.
And it would be so much faster.
Way faster. And we could study how cells respond to everything.
Like environmental changes.
Yeah, aging, even how they talk to each other.
It's like we're learning their language.
Exactly. And once we know the language, we can understand what they're saying.
This is amazing.
It is. And
Yeah.
we can use it to fix things when they go wrong.
Like diseases.
Yeah, injuries,
Yeah.
even aging.
This has been so eye-opening.
It has. We've learned so much.
I feel like I have a whole new understanding of this tiny world.
Me too. It's full of possibilities.
Thank you for listening to Podcast Learn and Fun. We hope you enjoyed the journey of learning. If you like our videos, please subscribe, click the like button, comment, and share. See you next time.